I'm Verity Rabbit, freshly baked and here to give you the truth as I see it. The first thing you need to be warned about is that Wes Anderson's movies are dry humor. And we are talking about Stuck in the Middle of the Sahara, where your camel just gave up its ghost. You have been seeing mirages of a young Barbara Eden with a tanker full of Hawaiian punch all day, and the only thing you can taste is the grainy sand stuck in your mouth, making your tongue painfully scrape against any part of your mouth. Yes, that's right. Another way to say it is hipster dry. I Love Dogs is the latest fare from director Wes Anderson, who is arguably known to be the hipster's director. With his films beginning in 1996's Bottle Rocket starring Luke and Owen Wilson, he has amassed quite a following for his dry style that has just gotten drier, a bit akin to Jared Hess's style in Napoleon Dynamite. His films are hard to describe. They are definitely stories seen through his eyes, and even though they have that sense of dry wit, they have a lot of heart and are thoroughly enjoyable mostly. To some people, the humor is bland, but therein lies an underlying level where he brings out quite a bit from his characters that you would not normally notice in other films that generally gloss over their characters to move the film forward quicker. Wes Anderson, in his odd way, paces his characters, and while some may attribute that to being out of touch with the general audience, which may be true, none of his films are summer blockbusters and doesn't look like it will ever be, it actually brings out his characters more than most films. Small details that you wouldn't normally notice about his characters. And even though when he brings them out, it is very subtle at first. But there is a deeper element to those moments. And yes, he does seem to be a hipster. I know, right? I'm shocked too. Lately, he's developed some films that appeal to children using stop-motion animation from animators Ian McKinnon and Peter Saunders, whose work you can see in Nick Park's films and Tim Burton's animations as well. His first film in this was an adaptation of Roald Dahl's The Fantastic Mr. Fox. Throughout the film, you can see his direction that takes a small concept and develops quite a lot from the minuscule. Again, especially with his characters. Here, with I Love Dogs, it's not that different. The story is a bit more elaborate than his previous ventures into the children's stories realm. So, grab a Pabst and Whole Foods organic chili popcorn. Clean off your beard and make sure your dark, thick-rimmed glasses are clean. We're going to delve right into it. The film begins with a brief summary of an ancient Japanese legend, where free-roaming dogs were at war with the powerful cat-loving Kobayashi dynasty, which desired to increase its dominion. At the last moment before the dogs were to lose to the Kobayashi dynasty and to death, a young samurai boy appeared and saved the loyal dogs from being destroyed by fighting back bravely with the dogs. The film seems to be a recreation of that legend. 1,000 years later, a potential large-scale biological outbreak in Japan is occurring. One of the worst-hit areas is the fictional city of Nagasaki. This is a dog flu that has been going around, and the government is trying to find a solution to its infestation before it increases and starts evolving to a version that is transferable to humans. There are two options on the table: wait, and hope for a cure to be created by Japanese biological scientist Professor Watanabe. And then there's the government solution, which is represented by the mayor of Nagasaki, Mayor Kobayashi, which is a bit more stark. Banish all the dogs in Japan onto a deserted island, hence the name of the film. Option B is finally chosen, and so begins our adventure. The first dog to be transferred is Spots, a dog that belonged to Mayor Kobayashi's ward, Atari. Once Spots lands on the island, we realize that he's stuck in his cage that has a lock that does not trigger to open. And then we're flash forwarded 6 months and see that the island has finally been filled with canines from all around that are now in a fight for survival, scrounging for food as they are getting sicker and sicker as time goes on. Disheveled and fighting on the island. For food, we come upon a pack of wild dogs played by Wes Anderson's alumni, Ed Norton, Bill Murray, Jeff Goldblum, and Bob Balaban. Also joining them is newcomer Bryan Cranston. As they're struggling through, they encounter a boy who has newly arrived. It's Atari, on a rescue operation to find his dog Spot. The instances of humor is served in the Wes Anderson style. Intelligent humor is served again very dry, with many characters acting very different from what you would expect their canine forms to act. It's as if you took your average coffee-loving hipsters and inserted them into a pack of wild animals. Which is not much different in this political climate. Bryan Cranston, who plays Chief, the leader of the dog pack, plays a delightful role as he struggles with taking care of Atari and dealing with his tendency to bite. Back in Japan, there is a conspiracy afoot as the mayor tries to repeatedly circumvent Professor Watanabe's attempts to finding a cure for the dog flu and bringing back their homeland's best friends. And we see this conspiracy get deeper and more morbid as the struggle sways back and forth with several scientists and a student from America leading the charge against the corrupt government and the elites backing it. As they search for Spot, the mayor feverishly sends out several teams of doctors and robotic dogs to seek out Atari and thwart any attempts to reconcile him to his original dog. As they do this, we not only see the strong bond emerge between Atari and Spot, but also how the dogs come together in unity for a single purpose, once again proving themselves as loyal and man's best friend. This movie is fun and enjoyable, but to be honest, somewhat forgettable. I will return to see it when it comes out on video, and certainly tell others about this film, but it won't be a classic anytime soon. For Wes Anderson's movies, very few can be called classic, but they are enjoyable to watch. While not rich with visual amazement, there is a sense that he spent a good time with his craft to tell a riveting story and add elements of humor from the circumstances that the characters go through, and through their personal development and opinions on said circumstances. Well, personally, I think that there is a bit of eeriness to Wes Anderson's films and disturbing quality that is shown in all his films. But that sense of eeriness does show a particular style that is certainly not easily matched or copied. From the odd music choice that is very hipster folksy to the desaturated color palette he generally has for all his films. The stop-motion animation is relatively choppy, but it seems like that it was done on purpose, because I can see smooth CGI to throw off this entire structure and style that Wes Anderson was going for, and it also adds to the eeriness. It does so in its own way, add a lot of exaggeration and character to the film. The expressions seem to stand out more. The film's color palette goes from drab to saturated grays, to drab to saturated yellows, to drab to saturated oranges. But it adds a real feel of the film, making the moods generally stand out. I can say that this was a good film, and I really enjoy the humor, the atmosphere, but especially the characters, which indeed made it. Ed Norton, Lee Schreiber, and definitely Bryan Cranston really make this film pop. And as of yet, Wes Anderson has not failed in delivering an entertaining film, but I have to admit, each time one comes around, I feel loathing to go see it. And once I'm carried into the theater to sit and watch the unraveling of one of his films, I tend to want to see where the characters go, and the why and the hows of the film. And for that, I give this film a solid 8 hipster dark rim glasses. It is something I really enjoyed and would recommend, but I doubt I will remember much of this, more than being oddly surprised again at how much I enjoyed it. Yet how little I remember of the film itself, just like most of Wes Anderson's other work. What do I know? I'm just a cookie.